It's smaller than your fingernail burned clay, cracked at one edge. A few lines of ancient script pressed into its face by a ring or a stamp seal 3,000 years ago. Most people would step over it in a dig site without a second look. But someone did look. And what they found pressed into that clay was a name. A name that appears exactly once, one time, in the entire Hebrew Bible. The ground it came out of is still being dug today. Not decades ago, right now. The place is called the Givati Parking Lot, an unglamorous name for what has become one of the richest excavation sites in Jerusalem. It sits at the northwestern edge of the city of David, the oldest inhabited core of the city, and archaeologists have been digging here continuously since 2007. The team, led by archaeologists Yuval Gadot and Yifta Shalev, has pulled layer after layer out of this one plot of ground. Islamic era remains, Byzantine floors, Roman walls, and beneath all of that, the First Temple period, the Jerusalem of the kings. It was in that deepest layer that a small object surfaced in the dirt. Easy to miss, impossible to ignore once it was cleaned. Dr. Anat Mendel-Jeberovich of the Hebrew University took on the job of reading it under magnification. The pressed script resolved into 2 lines of ancient Hebrew. The bulla wasn't lined with an open soil. It was inside the remains of a large public building. Thick walls, a real administrative, not a private home. And that building had burned ash layers, collapsed roofing, pottery crushed in place. The kind of destruction archaeologists don't mistake for accident or neglect. This was the layer connected to one of the most catastrophic events in the city's history. The Babylonian conquest of Jerusalem, 586 BC. The fall of the First Temple. Whoever owned that seal worked in a building that didn't survive to see the exile. The clay under his own official stamp was fired permanently hard by the very fire that ended his city. 2 Kings, chapter 23, verse 11. The text is describing King Josiah's religious reforms, tearing down altars, removing horses and chariots dedicated to foreign gods from the entrance to the temple. And in the middle of that account, one name is dropped in almost in passing. Nathan-Melech, a royal official, the officer who was in the precincts. That's it. One verse. No backstory, no genealogy, no second mention anywhere else in scripture. A man who existed only long enough for the text to note his title and move on. Until a piece of fired clay, 3,000 years later, put his name back on the record, in his own handwriting. Or at least his own seal.
Here's where I have to be honest with you, because it's the whole reason this story is interesting. Instead of just convenient scholars who've studied the bulla are careful, not triumphant. The name Nathan-Melech is rare enough in the epigraphic record that finding it on a royal official's seal in the right century, in Jerusalem, is a meaningful alignment. Name, date, and title all point the same direction. But the seal has no patronymic, no son of so-and-so, to lock the identification shut the way some other biblical bully have. That means this is a strong correspondence, not an airtight proof. The honest position is, this is very likely the same man, or someone who shared his rare name and his exact job, in the exact decade the Bible places him there. I'd rather tell you that plainly than oversell you a certainty. The evidence doesn't fully close. Step back from the one bullet for a moment, because the site itself deserves attention. Givati isn't a one-time dig that happened to find something interesting and then closed. It's widely considered the largest active archaeological excavation in Jerusalem today, and it has been running without stopping for nearly 2 decades. In that time, this single plot of ground has produced material from almost every era the city has lived through. Islamic period remains near the surface, Byzantine floors beneath that, Roman construction under those, and deepest of all, the First Temple period where the Nathan-Melech bulla was found. Most excavations get one headline and move on. Givati keeps producing them, one layer at a time, because the diggers never stopped going down. This is where the story stops being only about one seal. In 2025, archaeologists brought a new tool to this same site: Muon matching. The same particle physics technique used to scan the interior of Egyptian pyramids without moving a single stone. It's being used here to map voids and structures still buried beneath Givati before a single shovel touches them. And just months ago, in May of this year, a different part of the same City of David excavation complex opened to the public for the first time. A 600-meter stone road cut and laid during the Second Temple period, used by Jewish pilgrims on their way up to the Temple Mount. It had been excavated in sections for over a decade, and now you can walk it. The point isn't that any single discovery here is bigger than the last. It's that this ground has never stopped talking. A name on a seal, a road under a modern neighborhood, and now a physics tool looking for what's still hidden. All from the same few acres. I want to be careful here, because it would be easy to promise you something dramatic is about to surface. No one knows what the Muon scans will find. That's the honest answer. And it's also the interesting one. It might be more of the same: walls, floors, the ordinary residue of a city that rebuilt itself over and over. It might be nothing worth a headline at all. But it might also be another sealed room, another archive, another name pressed into clay by someone whose only trace left in the world is a few lines of script. The Nathan-Melech bulla wasn't found because anyone was looking for it specifically. It surfaced because the digging never stopped. That's the actual lesson of this site. Not that every layer hides a biblical name, but that you don't find out what's buried by guessing. You find out by continuing to dig. Here's the pattern. Laid end to end. A man named once in one verse, with no other trace in scripture. A seal bearing his exact name and exact title, fired hard by the same fire that ended his city, found in a building from his exact decade. Scholars who won't call it certain, but won't dismiss it either,
because the alignment is too specific to be coincidence and too incomplete to be proof. And underneath all of that, an excavation that has never closed. Not a single dramatic dig that happened once and ended, but 19 years of continuous work that keeps producing exactly this kind of find. A road, a seal, and now a physics tool looking for whatever comes next. None of this proves the Bible beyond dispute, but a name that shouldn't have survived, surviving anyway, in the one place on earth that never stopped being excavated. That's not nothing. That's a pattern worth paying attention to. Tomorrow, the ground gets excavated a little further. The Muon scans keep collecting data. Somewhere in the layers still untouched, there may be another name waiting. Or there may not be either way. Someone will still be down there, brushing dirt off whatever comes next. That's the pattern worth watching, more than any single seal. The ground keeps talking, as long as someone keeps listening. If you want to know what Givati turns up next, or the next name the Bible only mentions once before archaeology finds it again, subscribing is genuinely the only way you'll see it here first. I post one investigation like this every week, and I'd rather have you along for the next one than hope you stumble back onto this channel by accident. Hit subscribe now, while it's on your mind. This is Shrouded Scrolls. The ground remembers more than we do.